What's going on, guys? Matt Schaeffer back here with another Mosaic audiophile build for you. This one in a GMC Denali truck. This is the EV audio system. Let's go check it out. Alright, so as far as the subwoofer enclosure goes, this was actually way more difficult to make than it looks. We had to 3D scan the whole underside of this area. This is the EV version, so this is a lot different, where the seat bracketry kind of intertwines down there, and then of course you have like the factory amp and things like that are down there in that position. So trying to make anything fit in here was extremely difficult. Again, had to 3D scan and 3D model this enclosure to create a layered enclosure that perfectly fits in this area here. So you got three JL Audio 10 TW3s here in this enclosure. Again, it perfectly fits underneath this area, and obviously we have the rear seat here folds down as well. So it also makes this a little bit more difficult and interesting is we do have a pass-through back here. So this is a pass-through into the truck, which you can fold this down and still get all of your longer materials through the truck bed here. So all that is still functional, and it's all, again, molded. Even the bottom completely molded to every little nook and cranny that's there for maximum airspace. As you can see there, perfect amount of clearance. Now, as far as the inside goes, really efficient install. We used a Focal Utopia 8-inch mid-bass that is there in the door panel. Everything's fully sound treated with sound shield and hush mat behind that panel. Again, 8-inch mid-bass. We have our 3-inch Kevlar up here in the factory dash location. So again, 3-inch Kevlar M driver there. And then we have our frac tweeter here in the pillar. We 3D printed these really cool adapters to put the tweeter a little bit more on axis while keeping a factory looking mount there. So again, we're just not using the flush mount thing that it comes with. We're designing something that perfectly fits on that pillar there to give you a OEM looking appearance. We have our Helix conductor right here. This cool mount, super rad. You can see the acrylic bends over the top to make it look like a very factory looking panel. Super cool. That's going to be our main volume. That's going to be our sub volume. And that's going to be the preset. So I will get to the amps in a second, and we'll go over how all this stuff is being powered, but I'll let you know about the presets right now. So you have preset 1, which is going to be the factory radio. There is no interface yet for any of the EV GM cars. So just note that at the moment, there is no factory amp interface for any of the EVs. I think they pipe some weird sounds through the audio system in the EVs, which is why I think no manufacturer has a solution for them yet. So obviously we have preset 2, which is going to be our best source of audio that is going to work with the factory radio simultaneously. That is going to be a Bluetooth preset directly to our DSP underneath the hood. That's where we have everything located, because again, this is the EV version. So we can be connected to the factory radio and the Bluetooth chip simultaneously, making sure we get Apple CarPlay, but we also have perfect audio to our DSP. So you can communicate to both at the same time. So again, you're not losing out on any kind of functionality with that, but you are getting the best audio source from your phone to the DSP. Preset 3 is going to be an analog input to our Astel and Kern SP3000 or the newly released SP4000. This is going to be the Mac Daddy way to play music. That's going to give you the additional separation with depth that you're just not going to be able to achieve through a phone. It's also going to be able to play much higher bandwidth music. So you generally see us utilize one of these on a higher end system. So that's really the antithesis of the whole interior. We kept the rear speakers factory. Don't really need to upgrade those. And let's show you underneath the hood right now. All right, because again, this was the EV version. There's no space to put anything inside. It's hard enough to do the subwoofer enclosure. Obviously hard enough to do separate DSPs, separate amplifiers, a battery because it's an EV. So we had to utilize a little bit of this space up front, which we still made it usable. We created this 2-tier rack that you can still set stuff on here on the top. Looks factory. It contours into every one of those little nooks and crannies. And then if you look at the top here, you basically have our ventilation area. So there's 3 fans here, 1, 2, 3, that are sucking air out. There is a fan behind here, underneath here, that is exhaling or exhausting the air outside of the rack. So we have multiple fans in here. Again, this is protecting all the equipment below. Of course, we have our little badging there to show Mosconi amps here underneath this panel. So we have multiple Mosconi Pro amplifiers. Underneath here and here, you're going to see 2 Mosconi Pro 110s. Here's going to be another Mosconi Pro 110. All 3 of these amplifiers is going to power a single 10 TW3 subwoofer from JL that's underneath the rear seat in that enclosure. You're going to have a Mosconi Pro 210 that's going to power our front mid bass, and then we have a 410 which is going to power our front mid range and tweeter. Obviously we have these 2 furthest away from the battery, obviously our interior speakers, so all of that was designed and done accordingly just to not pick up any kind of like magnetic field coming from that battery. We have a excess power RSV S5 12 volt lithium here just to supplement any additional power that we're pulling from the car itself, because again, this is an EV. We have our main circuit breaker here that can kill power to all our amplifiers. We have a Mosconi Atimo 2 that's going to power our rear speakers. And then finally, we have our Helix DSP Ultra S. This is going to be our main DSP, the main brains behind the whole operation. It's going to control all of the different amplifiers, the crossover points to all the speakers, the equalization, all of that stuff with the entire audio system. So that's how all of that stuff is laid out. We have, of course, our exhaust fan up here to move some of this hot air out. And again, everything is just nice and tucked away. Obviously, this is an EV, so this whole tub, if this engine had to get serviced underneath here, as far as the electric motor or suspension or anything, there are quick disconnects for this whole thing. So you can pull the whole tub out as one piece, and then there's quick disconnects behind for all of this stuff to just completely disconnect and put on the ground. So everything is thought of to make it easy for serviceability, which is always our #1 criteria when it comes to any kind of build. Again, that's going to be our amp rack down there. Of course, you can see the quick disconnect plug for our 3 fans there at the top. That again is going to cool these amplifiers here. So as you can see, amp rack back in, totally durable. You can throw a bunch of stuff on there, no problem. There are little ledges here so you can put stuff on here and you don't have to worry about things sliding around. This is thicker acrylic, so again, no worry about puncturing this or breaking through that. Super nice, super easy, low key, and yeah, not a lot of glitz and glam, but just a lot of performance. All right, guys, thank you so much for following along with all these builds. If this is your first time seeing us, make sure you subscribe to our channel. Make sure you hit the like button, helping out that algorithm. Make sure you hit that alert bell, letting you know anytime we drop a new video. If you want to see the full catalog of vehicles that we've done in the past, check out our website, mosaicdesign.com. This is going to be the best full-fledged area to see all the content that we've ever created, the build logs, the videos, all of that stuff, the customer testimonials. Make sure you check us out there, mosaicdesign.com. If you want to contact me for a job, here's my phone number followed by my email address. These are the 2 best points of contact. Make sure you follow us on TikTok. We drop a lot of videos here well before they make it out to YouTube. Make sure you follow us on Instagram. Again, here you'll see a lot of the content that drops well before it makes it out to YouTube. And then finally, guys, we have a podcast called the Old Fashioned Car Audio Podcast. This is streaming on Spotify or anywhere you can download podcasts. It's going to be a great source of information to educate you as a shop owner, as a tech, as a DIYer, as a enthusiast on how to make cars sound good in 2025, right? So we're going to bring you along the journey We're going to educate. We're going to have guests on there, whether they were people who built stuff back in the day, people who work for manufacturers, engineers, competitors, all sorts of different things. It's going to be a great source of information to give you everything car audio related. So check us out, Old Fashioned Car Audio Podcast. And like always, guys, I appreciate the feedback. I appreciate the follow. And
until next time, peace.